You push hard all day. You make the calls, you put out fires, you carry the whole thing on your back. And then you sit down 7 o'clock and just go blank. You scroll, you stare, you can't start dinner, and you can't even start the show you wanted to watch. If that's you, I know that feeling. And the reality is that numbness isn't you running out of effort. You've got plenty of that. Your nervous system tripped a circuit breaker. But here's what nobody tells you. The answer is not more rest. You're not low on fuel. You're stuck in a freeze. And the way out isn't to lie down. It's to come back online. So before I show you what a freeze actually is, here's the move you can do right now. And I want you to do it with me. Because if you're feeling even a little numb watching this, this will bring you back. And it takes about 60 seconds. First, don't lie back. That's the instinct. And it's the wrong one. Instead, plant both feet on the floor and feel the ground actually push back up into them. Press down a little. Notice that the floor is solid, that it's holding you. Now slowly turn your head to the right and just look. Name 3 things you see. Out loud is better. Lamp, window, door. Then turn your head to the left and name 3 more. Don't rush it. Let your eyes actually land on each thing. That little head turn, that's called orienting. That's telling your nervous system, I'm here. I'm looking around and there's no threat in this room. And here's what you might notice. As you did it, something flickered back on. Maybe your vision got a little sharper. Maybe you took a breath you didn't know you were holding. Maybe you just feel slightly more here than you did 60 seconds ago. That flicker, that tiny bit of coming back into the room, hold on to it. Because this is the exact thing your body forgot how to do at the end of the day. And the reality is, once you understand why you go numb in the first place, you'll never confuse it for tiredness again. Here's what's actually happening in your body when you go numb. We talk about fight or flight like it's the only setting your nervous system has. And it's not. There's a third one. And almost nobody talks about it. And it's called freeze. And it's older and deeper than the other 2. Think about how an animal survives a predator. First, it tries to fight. If it can't win, it runs. If it can't run, if it's truly cornered, the body does one last thing. It shuts down. It goes still. It goes numb. And the gazelle goes limp in the lion's jaw. That's not the gazelle giving up. This is the oldest survival program there is. When there's no way out, the system pulls the plug to protect itself. Now, you're not being chased by a lion, but here's the thing your nervous system can't tell the difference on. When you spend 10, 12 hours a day in low-grade fight or flight, doing decisions, putting out fires, pressure, phone never stopping, your system is revving the whole time. Tired but wired. And it can only rev for so long. So at the end of the day, when the demands finally stop, your nervous system doesn't gently downshift into rest. It slams the brake. It trips the breaker, and you drop straight into freeze. That's the numbness, and that's the blank stare. That's why you can't start dinner, can't start a show, or can't answer one more text. You're not out of effort, and you're not even tired in the way that you think. You have hit a functional freeze, and your body's emergency shutdown. And it looks an awful like collapsing onto the couch and scrolling for 2 hours feeling absolutely nothing. The reality is, this is not a flaw in the system. This is the system working exactly as it's designed. It's protecting you in the way it only knows how when you've been redlining for 20 years. The thing that nobody ever told you is, this is what it is. So you keep treating it like tiredness. And that's where it goes wrong. So what do we do with this? Well, here's what almost everybody does, because it makes total sense. You think, I'm wiped out and I need to learn how to rest better. So you collapse onto the couch, you reach for the phone, and you tell yourself you're recharging. You go to bed earlier, and maybe you sleep 9 hours, and you wake up the next morning still tired, still foggy, and you can't understand it because you rested. You did everything right. So you start to wonder if there's something wrong with you, if you're depressed, or if you're just getting old. Here's why rest doesn't fix that. Freeze is not a low battery. Resting fixes a low battery. But freeze is a shutdown. It's not the power's drained. It's that the breaker's been tripped. Resting fixes a low battery. But freeze is a shutdown. It's not that the power's drained. It's that the breaker is tripped. And you can sit in a dark house all night. But if the breaker's tripped, Sitting there doesn't reset it. Lying down doesn't reset it. Sleeping 8 hours on top of a frozen nervous system just means that you wake up frozen and rested, which is its own special kind of exhausting. The scrolling is the worst thing you can do. And I say that gently because I've done it for years. When you're in freeze and you scroll, you're feeding your nervous system a steady drip of tiny stress signals. Every notification, every outrage, every comparison. So you're not coming out of the freeze. You're holding yourself in it. You're keeping the breaker tripped. And the reality is, you don't come out of the freeze by powering down further. You come out by gently switching the power back on. So let's talk about how to actually flip that breaker back. Remember the move you did at the top of the video? Feet on the floor, turning your head, and naming what you see. Here's why that works, and it's beautiful once you understand it. Freeze is run by the oldest branch of your vagus nerve, the dorsal branch. It's the one that handles shutdown. When it takes over, it pulls you down and in. Your face goes flat, your gut goes heavy, and your eyes go unfocused and far away. You literally stop seeing the room you're in. That's the freeze. Now here's the key. Your nervous system has one fast, reliable way to check whether it's actually safe to come back online. And it's not your thoughts. It's your eyes and your body in space. When you turn your head and your eyes land on real objects like a lamp, window, or door, and nothing in the room is a threat, you're sending a direct signal up to the brainstem. We are not cornered, and there is no lion. It's safe to come back. And when you press your feet on the floor, you're adding a second signal. I can move, and I'm not trapped. And trapped is the one thing freeze is built around. That's why lying down keeps you stuck. Lying down says, stay down, and turning your head and feeling the floor says, come back up. It is genuinely that physical. You are not talking yourself out of a freeze. You can't. Freeze doesn't speak English. It speaks movement and sight and pressure. So the way out is not a thought. It's not more sleep. The way out is small, deliberate signals of safety and motion. A little orienting, a little contact with the ground, one gentle nudge that tells the breaker it's okay to flip back on. And I want to be honest with you because I was that guy for years. The back half of my evenings just didn't exist. I'd get home and I'd sit down at the kitchen table, and the next thing I knew, it was 2 hours later and I'd done nothing. Scrolled, stared. My wife would ask me a question and I hear it like it was coming from underwater. I was there, but I wasn't really there. And the reality is, I thought that was just what being a hardworking man in his 40s felt like. I figured I've earned the right to check out at the end of the day, and I called it decompressing. It wasn't decompressing. It was a nightly shutdown. It was quietly stealing the only hours I had with the people I actually built the business for. And the turning point was so small, it's embarrassing. A therapist told me, next time you feel yourself going under at the end of the day, before you reach for the phone, just stand up and walk to the window and look outside for 30 seconds. That's it. And I thought, that's not going to do anything. But I tried. And the first night I stood at that window and I watched the trees move. And I felt, for the first time, and I don't know how long, like I'd come back into my own body. Like someone had flipped a switch and the lights came back on. Just a little. 30 seconds at a window. That was the whole intervention. And no, it didn't fix everything that night, but I did it the next night and the next. And slowly my evenings came back to me. Not because I rested more, because I stopped letting the freeze run the second half of my day. If you've been watching this far, I want to invite you to something. If this is you, if your evenings disappear into a numb fog, I built a free 7-day rhythm for exactly this. It's called Calm in 7. Each day, it gives you one tiny nervous system reset, and several of them are these little orienting moves, the ones that flip the breaker back on. It's not a meditation program, and it's not a productivity hack. It's 7 days of teaching your body how to come back online at the end of the day. You can grab it free by clicking the link in the description below. So let's walk through what this looks like as a daily practice, because this is the whole thing. I call it the 60-second reentry. The idea is simple. You catch the freeze as it's starting, and you re-enter your own body before it pulls you all the way under. Here's exactly how. You're going to pick one moment, the moment you walk in the door or the moment you sit down at the end of the workday. That's your trigger. And instead of collapsing onto a couch or reaching for the phone, you do this first. You stay on your feet, you plant your feet and press down, and you feel the floor push back. You slowly turn your head one way and name 3 things out loud, and then the other way and name 3 more. And then you take one breath where the exhale is longer than the inhale. 60 seconds. And that's the entire practice. Then you can sit down. Now, this is the part that really matters. The numbness is going to fight you. It's going to say, just sit down. Just grab the phone. Do this later. Because freeze wants you to stay frozen. And that's the nature of it. So you're going to feel the pull toward the couch that's almost gravitational. And when you feel it, that's not the sign to skip the move. That's the exact moment this move matters most. The pull is the freeze. Doing the 60 seconds anyway is how you beat it. Because here's what's happening every time you do this. You're catching your nervous system right at the edge of shutdown, and you're handing it the safety signals it needs to stay online. Feet on the ground, eyes on the room, breath in the body, and over time, weeks, not days, your system learns a new end-of-the-day pattern. Instead of demand stop, slam the brake, freeze, it learns demand stop, orient, settle, and you're not white-knuckling your evenings. You're rebuilding the downshift that your body forgot how to do. It's like a car that's been stalling every time you come to a stop. You don't fix it by parking it longer. You fix it by gently working the clutch over and over until the smooth downshift comes back. The 60-second reentry is you working the clutch one evening at a time. So let's bring this all together. The numbness you feel at the end of the day, it is not you running low on grit. It is not simple tiredness that more sleep will fix. It is a freeze, the oldest protective program you have, tripping the breaker after a day of running too hard for too long. And you don't come out of a freeze by powering down further. You come out by gently signaling your body that it's safe to come back online. Feet on the ground, eyes on the room, one breath, 60 seconds. And the reality is, those numb evenings were never the price of working hard. Your body just got so good at protecting you that it forgot how to let you back in. And the good news I want to leave you with is this. Coming back doesn't take hours. It doesn't take a vacation. It just takes 60 seconds and a window to look out of. That's how you get your evenings back. So if this hit home, go grab the free Common 7 Challenge. The link's in the description below, and it walks you through the first 7 reentries. If you know another entrepreneur who disappears into a fog every night and calls it decompressing, send them this video because they need to know it's not their fault either. This is Dr. Sean. Make it a great day.